Well, I just talked about this a minute ago on another video that I recorded, but ESPN kind of gets to the point here in a way that maybe you agree with or disagree with. You tell me, and we'll talk about it for a little bit. This is what I think it's Alex Scarborough is writing for ESPN. He's talking to everybody is listed in there in Mark Schlabach's too early top 25. You got the dogs at number three, which I think is whatever. I mean, two, three, four, whatever. It says, so you've won your first national championship in 41 years. Now what? You've lost the heart and soul of your defense, lineman Jordan Davis and linebacker Nakobe Dean. How do you bounce back to beat Alabama over the long haul? Georgia has to reload rather than rebuild and avoid down seasons. It's like these guys don't pay attention. Well, what the hell? When was the last time Georgia had a down season? A two-loss season or three-loss season? I mean, like, are you talking about what Florida does? Anyway, complacency can't creep in the locker room, no matter how talented the roster might be. Bulldog coach Kirby Smart seemed to acknowledge the tough road ahead after winning the national championship when he told fans, "I just hope they remember this feeling and understand they don't need to get spoiled. They need to stay hungry like these players." Okay, I do think that that is one thing that you can talk about after any national championship. I mean, people don't repeat. That has not happened since Alabama in 11 and 12. And I think before that, it was now somebody can get me if I'm wrong here, but SC did in the 2000s, and so it's about once a decade because the time before that was Nebraska in the middle 90s. I don't know if anybody did in the 80s. I can't recall. Maybe Miami. I'd have to look back. Make sure you're getting DAWGSTRUCTION. It's right down below. You can celebrate Georgia's first national championship in 41 years. We are. It's getting printed right now, so make sure that you're in line to get one of these first books. If you order right now, you are still in good shape to get the book in late February, early March. I can't. I don't know yet, but I'm telling you right now, you do not want to miss out on this. Click down below. You do not want to miss out on it. It is awesome. I'm not, if I say so myself. It's got stories that you're not going to read anywhere else. It definitely has images you're not going to see anywhere else, and it's what you want to remember the 2021 season by. The a championship letdown. I mean, to some degree, it sounds like I'm kind of all over Scarborough here. I don't know him, but I mean, you could write that about anybody. I think the biggest issue for Georgia are the running backs more than anything, and we're just going to see how that goes. But you know, a championship letdown. That Georgia didn't win the national championship in 17, but it had a great season in 17. And you would think there's going to be a letdown in 18. Well, that really wasn't the case. They just didn't get to the playoff. They should have been in the playoff. That was ridiculous that they were not in the playoff because they were clearly one of the best four teams. But that didn't happen. All these teams have issues coming into 22. At Georgia, you've got offensively, and this is coming from people. Okay, obviously, I know people inside the program. I've been around folks, some of them for a very long time. They feel really good about the offense. I think it goes without saying that the issue is going to be replacing some defenders. But on the offensive side of the ball, running back is the one spot that I see, and folks in the program kind of acknowledge it too. They just need a really good season from their top two guys right now, which is Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh. If you get that, then there's not going to be a lot to be concerned about because when the top two guys at running back have performed for the Dogs lately, they've had really good seasons. On the defensive side of the ball, you know, and I've not updated my board yet, but when you take a look at stuff, you lose a lot of linebackers, right? I mean, that's the spot that you're going to have to make sure that you can get. Adam Anderson is not going to be in the program at Georgia. Quay Walker is gone. Channing Tindall gone. You get Robert Beal back. You got to have to replace Nakobe Dean, and are Sori and Munden and Dumas Johnson ready to ball out? I don't know if Chas Chambliss is a three down linebacker. I know he can get to the quarterback, so he's going to be out there on third down. And I'm not as, I mean, listen, these guys are not going to hold people to 10 points a game. I don't think. But, you can be a pretty dominant defense at 14 points a game. I expect Georgia's offense I'm saying this now, and I reserve the right to be not only wrong, I reserve the right to change my opinion as we get closer to the season. But Georgia's offense should score more, and that's saying something. I mean, they really scored a pile of points this past year, to the chagrin of I mean, to the chagrin of a lot of folks who just don't are like either are Georgia haters or are Stetson haters. They're out there for sure. But I mean, Georgia was a top 10 scoring offense, 38.4 a game. There is still room for improvement there. And Tennessee and Alabama are 1 and 2 in the league at 39 and 30. Well, 39 and 40 for Alabama, and then 39 for Tennessee. And then for the Dogs, defensively, there really wasn't anybody in their universe. I mean, I think maybe Texas A&M, you can make the argument. I think Cincinnati. Clemson, of course, was allowing 15 points a game. And I hate to be this way, but they don't really play a competitive schedule the way that the SEC teams do. They just don't. Michigan was allowing 17 a game, and Georgia put up whatever it was, 30 something on them. I mean, some of this is relatively, is relative. So, if you're Georgia and you have 5 points a game to play with to still be the number one scoring defense in the country, you're doing okay, because this group is not a bunch of slouches. They're arguably not arguably. I mean, arguably okay. Their best defensive lineman, Jalen Carter, is back. He ain't nothing but trouble. Okay, that guy is going to be a top 15 pick in the NFL draft. I mean, if he's not, something's happened strange. But thanks for people ordering. I'm getting those orders right now for DAWGSTRUCTION. Make sure you're ordering. You can click right down below. I hear it in my ear when the bell chimes. Y'all can't hear it because I've got these earphones on. But you you got Carter, Stackhouse, Brinson. That's a good group to start with on the line. But you're also going to have Nolan back, and Robert Beal. So just to me, and I've talked about him a lot, Zion Logue is a guy who's going to have to do his fair share for Georgia to continue to be solid defensively. And I think he will. I mean, I've seen him enough to know that I think he will. And then on the defensive side of the ball and secondary, you got the return of Chris Smith. I mean, that helps a lot, I think. And Keely Ringo is a star. And if he's not a star, I don't know what you call the guy that has the virtual game winning play that goes for 6. So against Alabama in the national championship game, this defense is going to give up more points. The question is, how many more points are they going to give up, and will they be points that matter? I mean, you did see a lot of games this past season for the Dogs where the younger guys played a lot. The South Carolina game for sure. Obviously, Charleston Southern, Georgia Tech. Games like that, you had the younger guys playing. Tennessee, not as much. Auburn, not as much. But yeah, by the end of those games, they were playing. So they accumulated quite a bit of minutes along the way. They are not going to be shut down. You're not going to have Quay Walker flying through, and pressuring the quarterback. But Quay Walker was young at one point too. Same thing with Channing Tindall. And Georgia has recruited at a level that is pretty frightening for everybody else in the league that's not named Alabama. What Texas A&M did this year is great. I mean, it's awesome to have a class that is that exceptional, but you got to stack them together. And that's the one. If you want to get real picky about Texas A&M, that's the one thing where they haven't stuck them together repeatedly. Now Jimbo might, but if you do that, it's going to take some time for those things to stack up. And Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, they essentially over time here have done that. They have racked up quite a few classes in a row that are top 2 or 3 classes. A&M, you look at their 18 class, that's, I think, either right when Jimbo got there or whatever, they were ranked 17th. They had a really good 19. They finished 4th. In 20, they finished 6th. not horrible by any stretch of the imagination. And then 21 was eighth. These are all great. And then if and then you put on top of that a number one class that was exceptional, but it's you know, you want to be top three because your competitors, your direct competitor in Alabama is top three, and Georgia across the way is top three. So for everybody involved here, uh, top 10 classes in the SEC, they're not gonna get it done. And going back to Clemson, it's that's been their problem, I think, too. It's all sort of everything adds up. And you have to consistently have these really good classes, or when you get out of league play, you lose. And we've seen that with Clemson, with Georgia, Ohio State, and LSU. I mean, so those are the biggest games they've played lately, and they lost all of them. You don't want to be in that situation if you're Georgia, and Kirby's doing his best to not do that. You have to consistently win. You have to consistently recruit, and the way to win is by recruiting. Anyway, I don't, so we have gotten to silly season here. We're not totally into it yet because we still have spring football, but there's a lot of talking that just doesn't, of course, one issue is going to be a championship. If you want to call it letdown, or I don't even know. But the real issue to me, as I discussed, is the running backs. If those guys are going to be healthy, there's not a lot to worry about. Just got another order for DAWGSTRUCTION. Please make sure you're getting those. I'm going to stop talking now. Make sure you're ordering right now. We'll see you over on the website. Thanks for watching.